Hi everyone, welcome back to Hit Wicket, and today I thought I'd do a video on how each of the teams stand at the end of day 1 of the IPL Mega Auction. So starting off, we have the Chennai Super Kings. Their squad looks pretty decent, quite a couple of returning players with the likes of Ruturaj Gaikwad, Ambati Rayudu, Moeen Ali, MS Dhoni, Jadeja, Deepak Chahar, Bravo, old and wise returning Robin Uthappa, Asif and Deshpande to round out the squad. So far they've bought 10 players and they have 20.45 crore remaining, and they've bought 2 overseas players. So I'd say they have a decent budget left. To be honest, they've spent their money wisely. The only main expensive buy was Deepak Chahar. We have the Delhi Capitals. They've got some big buys there with the likes of David Warner, Prithvi Shaw, Mitchell Marsh, Rishabh Pant, Safraz Khan, KS Bharat, Akshar Patel, Shardul Thakur, Kuldeep Yadav, Anrik Nokia, Nagakoti, Mustafizur Rahman, and Ashwin Hebar. So they have a decent squad. They've bought 13 players so far. They have 16.5 crore remaining in the budget, and they've got 4 overseas players. I think the likes of Warner and Prithvi Shaw at the top of the order, followed by Mitchell Marsh and Rishabh Pant, will be a dangerous sight for any opposing team. A lot of power in there, and a couple of decent spinning options with the likes of Akshar Patel, Kuldeep Yadav, and some good quicks with Thakur, Nokia and Nagakoti, as well as Mustafizur Rahman. Then we go on to the Gujarat Titans, one of the new teams. So they have Shubnam Gill, Jason Roy, Abhinav Mohara, Manohar, Hardik Pandya, Rahul Tewadia, Rashid Khan, Mohammad Shami, Lockie Ferguson, Kishore and Noor Ahmad. So they've bought 10 players and they have a budget of 18.85 crore remaining with 4 overseas players. They got a pretty cheap buy out of Jason Roy, I'd have to say. He's actually a pretty good player, and they bought him at, I think it was base price. So Shubnam Gill's another good one. Rahul Tewadia they got, and I think he's a very handy cricketer in the IPL. He can smash the ball a long way, and he bowls very good leg spin. And obviously they have the prime leg spinner in the world in Rashid Khan. They have very good fast bowling options as well, in the likes of Mohammad Shami and Lockie Ferguson so far. Then the next team we have is the Kolkata Knight Riders, and they have Venkatesh Iyer, Nitish Rana, Shreyas Iyer, Sheldon Jackson, Andre Russell, Sunil Narayan, Pat Cummins, Shivam Mavi and Varun Chakravarti. So they've bought 9 players. They only have 12.65 crore remaining, and they have 3 overseas players. So I'm a bit scared for KKR at the moment. Obviously, they have pretty good players in the squad right now, but they've spent quite a lot of their budget already. I'd say the rest of their buys are going to have to be quite economical. Venkatesh Iyer and Nitish Rana, they've performed well throughout IPL for many years, as has Shreyas Iyer. Andre Russell and Sunil Narayan, yes, they've been dying out a bit in the last couple of IPLs, but they've performed in quite a few of IPLs and around the world in a lot of events. And they have decent quicks, obviously, in Pat Cummins and Shivam Mavi, and a mystery spinner in Varun Chakravarti. So a decent squad. Then we go to the Lucknow Super Giants. So they have KL Rahul, Quinton de Kock, Manish Pandey, Deepak Hooda, Marcus Stoinis, Krunal Pandya, Jason Holder, Ravi Bishnoi, Avish Khan, Mark Wood and Ankit Rajput. They've bought 11 players and they have 6.9 crore remaining, and they've bought 4 overseas players. Now they're in a very, very precarious spot because they only have 6.9 crore left. Yeah, not too much money left, so they won't be able to get any more big names. But in saying that, they already have quite a few big names. So KL Rahul and Quinton de Kock at the top of the order will be a dangerous sight to see. Marcus Stoinis is also a very power hitter. Manish Pandey might bring a bit of stability into that middle order. The finishing touches with Krunal Pandya, Jason Holder. Avish Khan, tried and tested, and he's performed very, very well in the IPL recently. We move on to the next team, which is the Mumbai Indians. They have Rohit Sharma, Ishan Kishan, Suryakumar Yadav, Dawood Brevis, Kiran Pollard, Jasprit Bumrah, Murugan Ashwin and Basil Thampi. They've bought 8 players. They have a budget of 27.85 crore remaining, and they've only bought 2 overseas players so far. So Mumbai in a very decent spot heading into day 2 because they have a lot of money to spend, but also they've only bought 8 players. Rohit Sharma, obviously, we all know his class. Ishan Kishan is a very good young player. Surya Kumar Yadav, an experienced IPL campaigner. Kiran Pollard, very experienced as well. Jasprit Bumrah, obviously one of the best white ball cricketers in the world. And a young talent in Delwood Brevis being rewarded for a brilliant Under-19 World Cup campaign. As an Under-19 cricketer, it'll be a lot of pressure, but I really hope he performs. He's been touted as already as the next AB de Villiers. Then we go on to the Punjab Kings. They have Shikhar Dhawan, Mayank Agarwal, Johnny Bairstow, Jitesh Sharma, Prabh Simran Singh, Shah Rukh Khan, Harpreet Brar, Kagiso Rabada, Rahul Chahar, Ashdeep Singh, and Ishan Porel. They've bought 11 players, they have 28.65 crore remaining, and they have 2 overseas players. So they have even more money than the Mumbai Indians, and they've already bought 11 players. So they've been pretty economically efficient in their buys on day one. And it's not like they've got crap players, they've actually got a decent squad together. So they've got Shikhar Dhawan at the top, who'll probably partner with Mayank Agarwal. Johnny Bairstow probably at 3, so that's a pretty good top 3. Shah Rukh Khan with the finishing touches. Harpreet Brar had a very good IPL. And obviously, Kagiso Rabada, we know he's class throughout international cricket and IPL cricket. Rahul Chahar, very good leg spinner. Then we move on to Rajasthan Royals. So they have Devdutt Padikkal, Yashasvi Jaiswal, Shandru Samson, Jos Buttler, Shimron Hetmeyer, Rian Parag, Ravi Ashwin, Trent Bolt, Yuzvendra Chahal, Prasidh Krishna, and Kariappa to finish out the squad. They've bought 11 players, they have 12.15 crore remaining, and they have 3 overseas players. So they've spent a decent amount of their budget, but they still do have enough left to maybe get 1 or 2 more big buys out. I think they've invested in good young talent in the likes of Padikkal and Jaiswal. Butler's obviously one of the best IPL players in the world. I don't know about Hetmeyer, to be honest. He's struggled in IPLs recently. I'm not sure why they paid so much for him. I wouldn't have done that. They have Ravi Ashwin. The experience of him and Trent Bolt and Yuzvendra Chahal will be very good to see with the ball. Then we move on to the Royal Challengers Bangalore. They have Faf du Plessis, Virat Kohli, Glenn Maxwell, Anuj Rawat, Dinesh Karthik, Shahbaz Ahmed, Wanindu Hasaranga, Harshal Patel, Josh Hazlewood, Mohammad Siraj, Akash Deep. They've bought 11 players. They have 9.25 crore remaining, and they've bought 4 overseas players. So as usual, the Royal Challengers Bangalore have poured their money into day one. They've probably come out of it with pretty good players as well, with the likes of Faf. Karthik is not a bad steal there. They spent a lot on Wanindu Hasaranga, and he is a very good talent. He bats very well, bowls good leggies, and is a good fielder too. Harshal Patel, what a bowler he ended up being last year. That was brilliant from him. Josh Hazlewood, very experienced international campaigner, and he's taken his T20 game to a new level recently. And Mohammad Siraj, as we know, who's exploded onto the international scene. Then the final team we have is Sunrisers Hyderabad. They have Abhishek Sharma, Rahul Tripathi, Kane Williamson, Nicholas Puran, Priyam Garg, Abdul Samad, Washington Sundar, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Suchit, Shreyas Gopal, Tyagi, Natarajan, and Umran Malik. They've bought 13 players and they have 20.15 crore remaining with 2 overseas players. So they have quite a lot of money left with the amount of players they've bought. I think they'll be looking to assign a couple more big international names. They've obviously got the stability of Kane Williamson there, who will probably captain. Quran is a very good buy, I'd say. Tripathi is a very underrated IPL player. He performs year in, year out. The young Tyagi, he had that brilliant over to win Rajasthan the game last year. And Natarajan, we know how good he is at the death. So they have a couple of good bowlers in there. So that's my review of day one of the IPL Mega Auction. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of all the buys and all the controversy. And I also did a video on the IPL Auctioneers collapse. Check that out above. And until next time, I'll see you guys later.
It's the calm before the storm.